In today's video, I want to encourage you to find some old piece of furniture and breathe new life into it. So stick around. We're going to look around in my storage room, in my barn, and see what I can find to redo and give it new life. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I hope you will like and subscribe. This channel does videos about different topics, and I hope it's things that you'll enjoy and encourage you. Subscribing to a YouTube channel is free. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when the next video is published. Now to today's video. I love saving money. I love to be able to reuse something I already have instead of having to go out and buy new. Now, I've bought a new home. It's not going to be my primary residence. It's a secondary residence. It's a small house. I'm very excited about it. And I'm really going to try to not buy new furniture for that house. Now, I probably will buy new beds because I don't want used beds. But I'm going to try to make furniture or make do with the furniture that I already have in a storage room or out in the barn, or I may pick up some pieces at thrift stores. But in today's video, I went out to my barn and a storage building where I had some old furniture that I had picked up over the years from some of the rental properties or some homes I'd bought in the past that still had some furniture left behind. And I'm going to see if I can repurpose or just refurbish some of this furniture and see if I can make my new house adorable. Well, there's one piece for sure that I wanted to redo. It was an old drop leaf table that I had gotten from an old lake house I bought back in the 90s. The house was very old, it was in terrible shape, and it came completely furnished. I had to redo the whole house and didn't keep much of the old furniture. But this old table I always liked. Now, when I bought the house and got the table, it was green. It was like Kermit the Frog green. I painted it black back then, and that's back when toll painting was popular, and so I painted a watermelon on the top of the table. I know, it's tacky now, but at the time I thought it was so cute. After selling that lake house, I bought another house, and at that time the farmhouse style was in, so I repainted the black table white and I distressed it. Well, now in this home, I don't want to do farmhouse. I really like that Scandinavian and minimal look. I like light wood. So I'm going to sand the top of the table and try to remove all the paint, all 3 or 4 layers of paint, and just stain it a very light color. I do have an electric sander. Now, it's not cordless, but it was really difficult to remove all the layers of paint. So I went to a chemical stripper. I just happened to have this old can of stripper in my storage room. So I used that to remove the paint, and then I did a little sanding. But y'all, even after I sanded and stripped and sanded and stripped, it still has a green tint. There's something about that green, that Kermit the Frog green paint that was painted on this wood table years ago that has just soaked into this table. And I really don't want to keep that green. So I'm not going to be able to just stain this tabletop a light stain. I'm going to have to darken it to try to tone down the green. And the legs of the table, I would love for them to be a natural wood, but they're just too hard. To me, they're just too hard to remove paint from all these knobs of legs of a table or chair. So I'm just going to use spray paint. I found an ultra matte spray paint at Walmart, and I'm going to spray paint the legs, and I'm just going to stain the top and then put a coat of poly. I'm using some old Christmas paper to mask off the top of the table so I don't get any of that spray paint onto my new stained surface. Now, I found these chairs in the barn too. These 2 chairs are from another house. I honestly don't remember where we got them. I think even my husband got them somewhere. They don't have bottoms, and they are metal. I'm going to just sand the metal, the little rust areas a little bit, and spray paint these metal chairs with that same ultra matte spray paint that I used for the legs of the table. And as usual, I don't want to go out and buy lumber. I don't want to have to buy anything. So I found this old scrap of wood, and I also found this round piece of wood in the barn. Now, neither one of these pieces are going to fit exactly. The little square piece is not quite large enough, so when I cut a circle, there are some flat angles on it. And the circle was a little large, so I had to trim it to make it fit. They're not even the same type wood. I think one's oak and one's pine, but I think they're cute. I polyurethaned both. I had to add a little tint to the pine seat to darken it up to make it look a little closer to the other chair. But you know, I think what's beautiful about this piece, or this set that I've created, is that it's not perfect. And it didn't cost very much at all. I didn't really have to buy anything. I already had the stain, the spray paint, the sander. And I just want to encourage you, look around at what you have and try to make do. It's really so gratifying and fun to be able to make something out of something you've already got. Now, I'm sorry to make this video so long, but I also found these two chairs at the barn and thought they would be cute to redo. They were in terrible shape, they were very dry, they really needed some kind of oil to bring the life back into these chairs, and they needed seats or bottoms. I found some pieces of old fence at the barn, and I cut the pieces of fence up to make the seats. Well, they're definitely not perfect, but again, I think that's what's so charming about them. I used a little wood glue in the cracks, and I even used screws and nails that I just had in an old container. So I truly didn't have to spend anything to make these two little chairs. And while I was working on this project and taking this footage, I realized how horrible my back porch looked, so I was inspired to paint the concrete. I think it looks a lot better, and it only took me a couple of hours. I have to admit, I had power washed the porch the day before and let it dry. I swept it off, applied the epoxy concrete paint, and voila, my porch does look a lot better. I'm going to need some bedroom furniture for the new house. Now, I found a nightstand at the Restore for $10. I have an old headboard in one of the storage rooms I saw earlier. And I also have a small dresser that I found at a thrift store several years ago. I think as long as I use the same paint for all three pieces, it will make them appear that they're a set or they go together. And as I've said earlier, I don't like to buy things. I don't like to spend a lot of money. So I'm going to use some paint that I already have. It's actually some ceiling paint. Ceiling paint is typically flat, and that is the finish that I want. I'm going to add a little plaster of Paris to make the paint adhere well to the furniture. I'm also going to clean the furniture. I like to use this crud cutter. I just give it a good cleaning before I start sanding and painting. The small dresser that I had from a thrift store find, I cleaned it, I sanded it, and I painted it with that same paint, and I think it looks pretty good too. And the old headboard, once I cleaned it up and put some paint on it, it looks pretty good. I think it's going to be just fine in the new house. Well, I hope this video is encouraging you to clean up, paint, redo, use things you already have. But I love sharing ideas with you, and I also want to encourage you. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't have to go out and buy everything new. Be creative. Use what you've got. Don't be wasteful. Don't go into debt for a lot of furniture. Save money by trying to use things you have or shop at thrift stores and upcycle. You're going to be saving money, and you also might find out it's a lot of fun. Well, thanks for watching today's video. I hope you'll like and subscribe. Until next time, bye. I kind of don't want you to Do you mind? I really would like for you to go away and not eat my linseed oil.